Welcome back to Hammer It Home, where today we'll be playing 2 away games against 2 of the league's top teams, Chelsea and Manchester City. We start away at Manchester City on a Saturday evening game for us today, giving us a chance to leapfrog some teams. We could potentially move up to 15 points and leapfrog even Southampton and move into 5th if we do get a positive result against Manchester City today. They have a few injuries. We have no real problems. We are joint on points at the moment. We have reverted back to a 4-2-2-2, which is something that we didn't play on the opening game against Fulham, which you remember from the first episode, which we convincingly lost. Our schedule and our form has been much better since we changed back to a more familiar formation for myself. We went on to beat Leicester in a close game, beat Bristol City in the Carabao Cup, drew 0-0 to Huddersfield, comfortably beat Huddersfield, drew to Southampton, beat Scunthorpe, came from 2 goals down to beat Cardiff 3-2, and drew 0-0 in our last game against Everton. Today's game is one that we could potentially get something positive from. Manchester City are sat on the same points as us. We are unbeaten since the opening game, so every chance we could come out of this one with something. Manchester City going with a 4-1-2-3 formation. Fabian Delph and Danilo playing fullback. Otamendi and John Stones are 2 centre-halves. Fernandinho, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Sane, Jesus and Aguero, that front 3, which is very dangerous. Claudio Bravo is in ahead of Edison. I'm surprised Danilo beats Kyle Walker as well. Bas Dost signed for them in the summer. Mertens as well. I think Bas Dost was on a free. Quite a few of those Sporting Lisbon players had their contracts cancelled due to problems that they got attacked at their training ground. So they had their contracts cancelled, and Manchester City have picked up Bas Dost. Today should be a good game for us. A good opportunity to come and play some good football away at Manchester City. No pressure on us, really. Not a game we're expected to go and win. So an opportunity for us to just come in, play some good football. Andy Carroll's been doing really well since he came back in after the opening day, where I really don't want to be playing Andy Carroll, not going to lie. I want to try and get West Ham playing nice, fluid, slick, passing football. But at the moment, we didn't have the funds to do it. You might see on the bench we did sign Jack Grealish. That was our last signing, very last minute on deadline day. We brought in Jack Grealish. He's helping us out. Arnautovic was banned, of course, after that red card against Fulham. As we lose the ball, lose out, David Silva beats Zabaleta, and he goes down the line, whips one in. Aguero is just wide of Jack Butland's near post. Not too much to talk about in this opening exchange. Fabian Delph's going off injured, being replaced by Kyle Walker. You have one fullback injured, you bring on a fullback that's probably even better than the one that went off. That's brilliant. Coming up towards half time, literally a couple of minutes. We really don't want to concede now if we don't have to. Sane's in behind. Butland does well. Good save from Jack Butland. We are trying the whole 3D thing. We think we've got the right recording settings to be able to do it. This is just a live comm, so whatever happens, it's gonna go up. If it's not that good, we will change back to 2D Classic if the settings aren't right, and we'll fiddle around. I've been fiddling around with settings for a while. Haven't quite got that yet. But we will get there eventually. We'll get the right settings and it will look great. Hopefully, we've got it this time. But at half time, I haven't got too much to say. We'll just give it to the assistant. Come out for the second half. Don't want to say too much. We're 0-0 with possibly the best squad in the Premier League. They are down in 8th at the moment, which I think will push us to 9th. Chicharito beaten out by Otamendi. Silva. Let's just hope that we can get the ball back here. Sane, De Bruyne. What a side they really have got. Would love a couple of these players. Maybe in a couple of years, if we get a bigger budget, we'll be able to compete a little bit more. The big old London Stadium could help us to garner some extra income, which is what it was meant to do. The whole move from Upton Park, the bowling ground, to the London Stadium was meant to generate more income, better sponsorship, more money. So hopefully next year we'll have a real quite big, substantial budget, as Aguero's headed over from just about a yard or two. But that was what it was all for. Moving to the London Stadium was to compete with these top sides, with the Man Cities, the Tottenhams, the Liverpools of the world. Maybe not with the Arsenals. Maybe not so much City, United and Chelsea, but Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal. It was meant to be competing with those guys a bit more in terms of money being spent on players and wages. So maybe in a couple of years we'll have that sort of money to go and compete with those guys. Needs to have a good season though, the club here. Aguero, Reed does well. Far away is Fernandinho. Sane. Reed does well. Antonio. Fernandinho. De Bruyne. They're knocking it around really nicely. We can only dream of doing something like this. What a challenge that is from Zabaleta though. Now we're on the break. Chicharito has aimlessly thumped it in towards Stones and Bravo thumps it long. Reed does well. Here's Arnautovic. He's slid one into Carroll. Andy Carroll. He scored! Claudio Bravo did nothing. And Andy Carroll gives West Ham United the lead away at the Etihad. Watching this in slow motion. Arnautovic does well. Is that Otamendi gets beaten? Carroll in at the near post. Rifles it in. Claudio Bravo could do absolutely nothing. Ferociously struck by Andy Carroll into the back of the net. We're up to 6th. Joint on points with Liverpool and Southampton, a point behind Manchester United. This is where we want to be. And this is a superb piece of football so far. They've moved Danilo to left back and switched Kyle Walker to right back. De Bruyne's whipped one in. It's cleared away as far as John Stones, and that's the end of that highlight. We'll take highlights like that for the final half an hour of this one. Gabriel Jesus has come off for Dries Mertens, who again is another incredible player to have just on your bench. We couldn't have a player like that in our team, really, let alone on the bench. There's Cresswell, and I think Arnautovic knew he was offside. Kyle Walker finds Bravo. Now Bravo's coming a long way with the ball, and he's not really done very well there. Andy Carroll in the middle of the pitch, always holding it up really well, and tried to find Arnautovic. Otamendi. Everyone in this Man City side just looks like what a ball that is. Aguero's in, and he's missed. Everyone in this Man City side looks like they can just go and play, which is incredible. We're going to make a sub on the corner. We're going to bring off Arnautovic. He's played quite well, but he's run himself into the ground. We're going to run Jack Grealish to come in and do a job for us. Company is on for Fernandinho. I think Company's playing holding midfield for the final 10 minutes of this one. Not sure why they would do that, but there you go. There is Company. Otamendi, Company again. Out to Walker. Loads of space and time. Sane, Company with the assist. They've been proved right. Good decision to put him in. He's got the assist. He had a shot there. Moved the ball wide. Got into the box. His header was down to Sane, who finishes it pretty easily past Jack Butland from close range. Not much Jack Butland could do about that one. I'm going to make a couple more subs now, really. We'll bring on Lanzini in the centre of the park. João Mario has a real yellow card problem at the moment. He seems to be getting yellow carded a lot. Aguero is now breaking down the line. Sane again. Well played from Ogbonna. Back to Butland. Thumped long. Needs to be towards Carroll there, really, not Chicharito. Ogbonna does well. They're just picking it up every time, and Walker's got loads of space on that right hand side, and that's a penalty. Yes, it is. Ogbonna's tripped Sane. Ogbonna's got a yellow. And it's saved by Jack Butland. Unbelievable stuff. Aguero has missed a late penalty, and now we'll take a draw. They've had 25 shots on goal. What a challenge that is. I thought that could have been a penalty again. What a challenge. Silver in at the near post. It's away. My goodness gracious me. 3 minutes. Just over 3 minutes to run. Sane wins again. He's won his battle. And there's Aguero. Ah! And there it is. Surely the winner. Ah. It is going to be the winner. We didn't want to go defensive. We didn't want to change it up too much and invite Man City on. They had so many shots. We didn't want to invite them on. And they've done what they do best. They've not played brilliantly, but they've won the game. They had a lot more shots than us. We only had one shot on target and scored it with Andy Carroll. We fall to 9th in the league as things stand and have a huge game against Chelsea coming in 7 days' time. So after last week's narrow defeat, a late defeat against Manchester City, we are going to play the we're going to play the exact same side that narrowly lost to City away at Chelsea. Looking at it, we played quite well. We were really unlucky at the end, and if we do snatch a lead or snatch a goal against this Chelsea side, we will then try and lock up and play things a bit differently. But as you can see, Chelsea playing 3 at the back. It's labelled as a 5-2-3. For me, it's more of a 3. Okay, so yeah, 3-2-2-2-1. You know, those wing backs, depending. I think Victor Moses and Alonso are quite attacking players, whereas I think Kante will be that sort of more holding player in the middle. Hazard and Pedro definitely aren't going to be getting back anytime soon, so I suppose you could say they're a 3 up top. Whereas we aren't really a 4-4-2, we're a 4-2-2-2, or even a 4-2-4. But hopefully today, you know, we are looking good in the league, relatively. Apart from that defeat to Fulham, which is going to stay on our minds all of this season. Chelsea are doing really well. Just the 1 defeat for them so far this season. 6 wins out of their opening 9 games. Obviously this one counting towards a draw, but they could go 7 from 9, which would be an incredible run from them. Arsenal doing really well as well at the top of the table at the moment. But some really good players again on that Chelsea bench. Willian, Gary Cahill, Fabregas, Batshuayi, Van Ginkel, Christensen, you know, even Caballero backing up. Courtois is a very capable goalkeeper at this level. He could easily start. They look a lot more tired than us, though. I mean, Hazard looks shot to pieces, and we're only 37 minutes in. Won't stop him from now scoring, will it? But can they go a full 90? Moses goes down the line, whips one in. Morata away by Noble. Chicharito couldn't win the race. Moses back out wide to Kante. Pedro, what a challenge that is. We've not won the second ball though. Now we do. There's the winners. Carroll wins his header, but not good enough. Moses again down the line. Butland, don't know what the hell happened there, and with we've escaped. We haven't had a shot on target yet. I think we aren't going to create loads against these top sides yet. We're still getting there. We're still, you know, Winnie Reid and Ogbonna are two good centre-halves, but they're not Rudiger, they're not David Luiz, they're not Koscielny's, they're not Mustafis, they're not Chris Smallings, they're not these top centre-halves. You know, they're not John Stones. They're not billed as these top centre-backs for the top teams. You know, fullback-wise, Zabaletta's getting on. Noble isn't a Kante, he's not a Barkley, he's not even a Fabregas. He's a good player and I like Mark Noble, but he's not any of those players. He's not going to drive a team forward. He'll score a few penalties and he might get one or two other goals, but he's not going to score loads of goals. That's not him. So, you know, moving forward, we're going to need to get players in the midfield that are really going to be a little bit high quality, like another João Mario, as Morata gives Chelsea the lead. Again, Jack Butland, still quite young. He's got to be improving this year. This is the year for me where he has to improve even in real life. But again, this is poor goalkeeping. He can come and close that angle. He's not. And it's just hit him and gone in. It's what I expect from Championship goalkeepers, League One goalkeepers. Was what we saw from Lee Burge a few times in the Coventry series. Don't expect to be seeing it from Jack Butland in the Premier League. It does make me want to use some choice language, a little bit profanity, but you know, these things happen and we're not expected to win either of these two really, but we want to compete. And at the moment in this one, I haven't really seen an attacking highlight. Have we still had a shot on target? I want to compete a bit more than this at the moment. But here's Arnautovic, could be nick something. And again, it's this poor final ball, poor placement of passes. Kante can drive on. Moses, Barkley, Kante again, picking his passes brilliantly. Look at that, wide open Marcus Alonso, cuts it back, Morata, should score. Morata, you should score that one. We don't really have anything on the bench to come on up front. We have a couple of £1 million left over and a little bit of wage. We could make something happen in January, maybe, if we're lucky. Because we need someone else up front. We got rid of Hargill, we sent him to Cardiff, and now we're sort of two up top. We don't have anyone to come in should there be an injury, which I'm just waiting for that day when Andy Carroll goes down with an injury which keeps him out for another year or whatever. That's going to happen. That's a great tackle, but Willian just picks up the seconds, and there's a penalty. Graham Scott and Cresswell's in trouble. I think that's going to be his day done. He's already on a yellow. It was cynical. He was easily beaten, and here comes the second yellow card, and he's off. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace Zabaleta with Shawcross, put Shawcross in at centre back, and keep it like that. And then bring on Grealish for Arnautovic, who's been terrible again. Arnautovic hasn't done that well so far, and if he's poor up until January, then maybe cashing in. Butland goes the wrong way, Hazard makes it 2, and it looks as if that could be the game wrapped in a nice, neat little package, should we say, which isn't great for us, but Chelsea good side, and we could, you know, I want to. We're just not getting anything attacking wise in this game, and it's 3. It's just not. It's not good. It's not good watching. For me, it's obviously great for people that are watching this because no one likes to see a Football Manager series where you just win every game and you're top of the league all the time, and the Coventry series was a little bit like that. and it's not so fun for anyone watching. They want to see things like this, and we are getting well beaten today. It's upsetting. It's disappointing that we come into these games and when we're live and we just get thumped. I suppose it's going to happen when we're playing big teams like Chelsea and Man City, but the Fulham game was terrible. This one's been absolutely disgraceful, and it's 4-0. Oh my goodness, we are getting really badly. I mean, Jack Butland's clearance is terrible. Moses slides it down the line. Williams in acres ahead of Ogbonna, and Shawcross just couldn't get anywhere near Morata, and it's 4-0. We did have to go free at the back to try and go and attack when we went 2-0 down. I'll stand by that decision. I'm not going to change the formation up. We have been running a different formation in the Carabao Cup. Don't know if we're going to be doing that. So we really need to win that game now against Burnley for some confidence. We're now 2 defeats on the spin, and we've been thumped in this one. Really, Fabregas, it could be 5. Van Ginkel it's 5-0. Van Ginkel's come on and scored, and it just looks way too easy. Moses got it across goal. They win in headers. They're winning seconds. Shawcross tackled his own man. Van Ginkel's on his own on the right hand side of the box, and it's 5. And our goal difference has taken an absolute drubbing today. And after some real good form, we've come onto the live comm and been taken to the cleaners, basically, which is a real shame. We looked good against Manchester City, and I thought maybe we'd kick on, but it's all over. It's Chelsea 5, West Ham United 0. We'll give them a dressing down in the dressing room, because that was totally unacceptable from anyone in the Premier League. You shouldn't be losing 5-0 to anyone. I don't care who you are. We'll tell them exactly what we think of them. After that, that puts us 12th in the league after 9 games, 12 points. If you did like this episode of Football Manager more than I did, please do give it a like, subscribe, put that notification on to catch our other videos, and we'll be back soon.